coalition, the coalition of different interests that just got together to get power. There's nothing wrong with that. But after they got the power, what have they been doing with it? You can see that there's so much disjointed. The president is trying his very best. He's an ex-military man, so much, but there's only so much good intentions can make. You see, like I said, going back to the system, Nigeria does not have a good operating system. You want to use that term. It does not have an operating system as in, like in the, if I could liken it to...
Okay, Mr. Ogumati, I'm going to take a very quick break, and I'm going to come back to you with the last question.
Okay.
But that question I will hold back. But let's take a quick break and we'll be back. So people just wait, bear with us. We'll be right back after this short break. A problem solver or something that maybe could take us in a different light. Could you expatiate on that a little bit?
Well, like I said earlier, the problem with Nigeria is the structure, is the way it's run now. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just read it a short while ago. I am yet to confirm fully, but yes. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Koromadu, who has headed the Constitution Reform
Review Committee
for about 8 years, and has not really made any headway. Just came up now to say that, look, we need to go back. Nigeria has 36 states. Right now, virtually, I don't know, maybe about just out of them, maybe about 6 of them, maybe about 6 of the states are financially viable because of the way they've been run around. They're not, they cannot, generate enough funds on their own to stand. And they have been clamor for years, especially notably by so many, but notably by that we should go back to our old regional system and, maybe instead of 3, now have about 6 because the country is a bit more vibrant.
Yeah,
regions, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And those 6 regions should have an element of autonomy. And then we have a weak center, right, that just runs things like security, strategy, overall policy, police, and things like that. Mm-hmm. But you see, this has been resisted over the years because everybody wants to sit down in their state and just get money from the center. We're in a lot of problem now because Nigeria is no longer making so much money from oil. Everybody knows that there's been a crash in oil, and right now we are really, really in the doldrums. Now, the thing to do, which should have been done, which is only in the last regime we had constitutional conference.
Yes.
That just that didn't get anywhere because the same thing happened again. Some group took over and were trying to be funny. The thing to do is to restructure Nigeria from the grassroots again. Get 6 regions working. Get from those regions, let's now have local government. Let the local government operate on their own. Let the regions be autonomous. Let there be transparency in the way everybody Nigeria is being governed. And then we will go back. You see, all those things you've mentioned are just symptoms of the problem. The real problem is that Nigeria is not, it's not a nation. It's not yet to become a nation.
Okay,
it's just an agglomeration of so many interests and groups and ethnic bodies and whatever you want. That's the truth.
Oh, thank you. Look, Mr. Ogumati, I cannot thank you enough for joining me on Point Blank this today. It's been a real pleasure talking with you, and I hope to get back to you at some time on other issues. Thank you very much.
No problem. I'll be most obliged. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful program I've had for you today. I've had 2 great guests join me, Mr. Oluwaluko and Mr. Tunde Arugumati, one from Abuja and one from Lagos. And we have delved into what the situations are in Nigeria. Unfortunately, we cannot keep going on. We have a 30-minute program. But look, if I left time out there, we would discuss the Nigerian problem to no ends. But they have given you some idea of how things should be from their own perspective. And I do really agree to to a lot of what they have come out with today. Look, this is a program for you. I want you to tweet at me at Patrick PJ Osage or go to #PointBlank. Same time, same place, next week, Thursday. I'll be right back on the screen. So have a good evening. Bye.
Welcome to Trinity Africa Bar and Grill at Suite J, 5700 South Gessner, Houston, Texas 77036. Come dine in a contemporary setting and enjoy our specialties like Francophone coconut rice, grilled fish, plantain and African spice, jollof rice, pounded yam and ogbono soup, vegetable soup, and much more. Calling to order your takeout and outdoor catering and experience our second-to-none services at an affordable price. Take advantage of our $10 lunch special from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Trinity African Bar and Grill is located at Suite J, 5700 South Gessner, Houston, Texas 77036. A taste that commands order for more.
Since NBC has been at your service, our clients have told us their businesses have been booming, and we found out too. What are you doing about your business? Do you want more clients? Do you want more people to know about the services that you do provide? Do you have a luncheon coming? What about your premieres? Call NBC. Advertise your birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, church program, or request our coverage at your function. NBC, at your service 24/7. Call 832-887-6452 or call 281-888-9502. NBC, your favorite station, sharing African views.
Welcome to Point Blank. My name is Patrick Omo-Osage. This is my regular weekly program where I hold nothing back and give it to you, my audience, the way I see things. Today I have two interesting topics. One is about the Nigerian Senate, the issues going on with our Senate back in Nigeria, how people are so upset with what is going on in that system, the bloated budget, Saraki's troubles with the EFCC, and so many other things, even their salaries. Nobody seems to know what they earn. So we will deal with that issue. My second issue would be, I have lived in Nigeria for 56 years. I'm giving out my age now. But in 56 years, I have seen problems that come in that country, and none has ever been solved. We have never solved our water problem. We've never solved our power problem. We haven't solved our bad road problems. I come from Benin. The Lagos, Shagamu, Ore, Benin has never been a good road all my life. These are the issues we're going to discuss today. I'll be joined at that time by another friend of mine. But let us start with this. The Nigerian Senate. What is the problem with the Nigerian Senate? Do we really need a Senate? Do we need a two-chamber legislature? These are the questions I'll be asking my first guest. But before we get to that, I'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'll be joined by, actually, he has a well-known father. Himself is renowned in his own case. He also has a brother that was a former senator. At that time, I will introduce my guest to you. So let's take a break. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Point Blank. I want you to reach me at hashtag Point Blank or at my Twitter handle, PJ Osage. We need your comments. I need to answer some of your questions that you have that you really want to ask me about what my thoughts are on several issues. But let us deal with the first one today. My first is about the Nigerian Senate. Joining me on the line from Abuja in Nigeria is a man that his father is pretty well known, a world-renowned economist, Professor Sam Aluko's son is joining me today. Olu Aluko, welcome to Point Blank.
Yes, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
Olu, let us deal with this problem of the Nigerian Senate. Today, the Senate was invaded, I use the word invaded, by protesters. And you live there in Abuja. What did you see or what have you heard about it?
Actually, I heard there was a march, saw some pictures. I wasn't on the scene itself, but I've been monitoring the events. It has not really come as a surprise to majority of Nigerians because for a while now, the generality of Nigerians have been very, very discontented with the goings-on in the Senate. But I actually believe that there's a genesis to this problem. Because if you recall, Nigeria was a British colony, and we started out by using a parliamentary system handed over to us by the British. Along the line, we have decided to run an American-style democracy. So definitely, we are at a crossroad with this.
Okay, Olu, could you just hold on just there? Because I want us to now quickly compare what you mean by the parliamentary system, the British parliamentary system, and the American-style bicameral legislature, which we have now. What is really is it about the expenses or the style?
Yes, it is very easy. You can just compare with what goes on in Britain and what goes on in America, government-wide.
Okay.
So without trying to go into so much details and we are belaboring our listeners because of shortage of time, the truth about it is that the parliamentary system is a cheaper system to run.
Okay.
You know, than the American system,
which is the presidential.
Unfortunately for us, we are in a situation where the Constitution, before we can do anything to change the system, the Constitution has to be changed. And the Constitution has to be changed by these very people who are in the National Assembly. And my guess is as good as yours. I mean, they would not want to change something that will get them out of a job or get them out of office.
That's true.
So we are in a catch-22 situation as of now, and it will be very, very difficult.
Okay.
Because there's a procedure you have to follow in changing the Constitution.
Okay, let me just remind Mr. Aluko, let me just remind my guest who I am talking to. I'm talking to Mr. Olu Aluko. He's based in Abuja. He's actually a lawyer. I mean, I'm sure most of you have figured that out because of his constitutional and, really historical analysis of, where Nigeria is coming from as regards our democracy. So Mr. Aluko is based in Abuja. He works out of Abuja, and he's talking to us direct from Abuja right now. But Olu, let me say something a little bit about the American system, which is their presidential system. I hope you know, and we also should actually realize that there are also a lot of American senators that actually also complain about the expenses of their system. I know of a particular senator, in all the years he's been in the Senate now, he's out of Kentucky. He does every year returns money into the government coffers because he says it's way too expensive, that he doesn't need all that money. And what you're saying is that that's the kind of system we have now picked up in Nigeria that is really running us ragged. Is that what because you almost mentioned the expenses between the parliamentary and the presidential. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. And the problem we have now is that we have a very bad economy. And actually, Nigeria, contrary to people's opinion, people believe that Nigeria is a very, very rich country. I say Nigeria is a potentially rich country.
Very good.
But in actual fact, if you look at the facts and figures and the financial situation we have, Nigeria is just potentially rich, not actually rich the way rich enough to maintain this kind of presidential system. Yes. And then to compound the problem, the public right now feel that the Senate, the National Assembly in general, the Senate in particular, are insensitive to the economic circumstances right now of our country. Mm-hmm. You know, and when we look at the amount each individual senator receives, not the salary per se, but the perks, mm-hmm. it's a little bit unreasonable compared to the standard of living
of the rest of the country,
the average Nigerian. So there's a great disparity between senators and the rest of the public in a country where we virtually don't produce much. Mm-hmm. We are an import-dependent country. Our president is going around seeking for money and loans mm-hmm. up and down the whole place. And it's becoming absurd.
Okay, Mr.
That yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Mr. Aluko, let me take a pause there and ask you this. So what exactly do we want? I mean, I see all types of banners on social media: stop the Senate, disband the Senate, sack the Senate, and all that. Look, I pose that question to you. Exactly what do you think the people want? I know you're not an elected official that knows but you do have a pulse of the people. So I give you that question, but we'll take a quick break. So when we come back, you're going to delve into the answer for us. What exactly do we want? How do we want to solve this problem? So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on Point Blank. Welcome back to Point Blank. Hashtag Point Blank, that's the way you can get us and get all the information you need on this program. You can also tweet at me at Patrick Omosagi or PJ Omosagi. That's my Twitter handle. I still have on the line from Abuja in Nigeria, Mr. Oluwaluko. He's a favorite son of the late Professor Sam Aluko, a beautiful economist. He's also an older brother to a former senator of Nigeria, Senator Gbenga Aluko. Mr. Olu, how does that sound? You had a brother that has been in this same Nigerian Senate that you're probably thinking is overpriced or, or spends too much of our money for a bunch of 105 of them. So, I mean, I did ask you before we go, what do we really want? You have a pulse of the people. What do we want?
Look, the way around this thing is probably via a referendum. Mm-hmm. Without trying to sound like Nostradamus or any other stargazer, my belief is if you conduct a true referendum today, asking the Nigerian people whether they should reduce the National Assembly, scrap the Senate, my take on it is that the answer will be in the affirmative. Because right now, Nigerians are really sick and tired of the National Assembly in general. Mm. It is the general belief that they are not doing Nigeria the service it needs to do, and they are sucking on the wealth of the nation. And the end products of their work does not justify the
kind of money they are spending,
the input that they are making, the contribution they are making into the progress of this country. But like I said, the best way that I can see to go around this thing is to first start with a referendum. You understand? And then there's a bigger problem because we now have a president that has standards as per corruption. Mm-hmm. So Also, our former president was a little bit lax on the corruption issue. So the Senate, the difference between the Senate and the executive was not that glaring. But right now we have a disciplined president who has made anti-corruption one of his standpoints. So all of a sudden, Nigerians are beginning to look at it that they're beginning to compare the executive arm of government with the legislative arm of government.
Well, of course, they are normally two separate things. So, they are actually separate and they're supposed to work hand in hand, but they are supposed to also oppose themselves to a large extent.
Well, my take is that for the Senate to survive,
yes,
and for the Senate to have for the Senate to give a better impression on the public, they must slash down their allowances drastically, because that will go a long way to appeasing the public in general, and it will convince the general public that they are actually in tune with the economic problems of the time, and they are willing to sacrifice as a body. But if you keep on wanting to maintain what was happening before, it will further shift them away.
We will not go anywhere
from the public. So, and I'm still amazed and surprised that rather than the Senate reacting to the economic circumstances, they are more interested in playing politics of the president of the president of the Senate.
Good question. I mean, Olu, you raised one, and this is going to be my final question to you, and I want you to please make that very, very brief for us. Because, yes, again, my audience here in Houston and all over the United States, because we are also online on our website, NBC TV Live. You can also pull this program up. Mr. Olualuko, just briefly, what is the problem, or what should we, or how do we solve the problem of the Senate President, Mr. Saraki? What should be done? A very brief answer for us.
In civilized country, it is Saraki himself that should solve this problem immediately. In civilized countries, the mere fact that you have been called alone to come and answer some questions, you should do the right thing and resign. You understand? And resign. Because you cannot have an embattled Senate president with people saying that he has huge skeletons in his wardrobe, and he's sitting tight, trying to. It's unfortunate. The man is an intelligent man.
And
the
nothing
man
is
has
going.
Pedigree, but that is not enough right now. The problem there is that he's facing a lot of charges from the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
Okay, look, Mr. Aluko, we could go on and on because it looks as if the Nigerian problems are almost unending. But look, I really appreciate you joining us from Abuja today. I'm very happy you could give us some time to do this. And I hope my audience has actually been enlightened by a very well-known lawyer in Abuja, the son of Sam Aluko, a great economist, and the senior brother of a former senator himself, Benga Aluko. Mr. Olu Aluko, thanks for joining me on Point Blank today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That was a wonderful interview I just had with Mr. Olu Aluko in Abuja, Nigeria. He's been able to enlighten us and because he feels the pulse of what is going on in that country about the Senate. And he gave a really, really good summation of what we're to expect now and in future. We're going to take a break. But when I come back, I'm going to be joined by another very seasonal, and I call them seasonal because they make their comments on social media infrequently. But when they do, they are powerful to what they say. I'll be joined by one of those kind of guys. I mean, it's a very, very, I'm sure some of you would know him also. But this time we're going to not be talking about the Senate. We're going to be talking about perennial problems in Nigeria. No water, no light, bad roads. The university infrastructure or our academic standards are falling. And it doesn't seem that we've ever really solved any problem in the country. He will join me and we will discuss that. So let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Point Blank. Hashtag Point Blank. My Twitter handle is PJ Osage. That's how you can get at me. I need questions, I need comments from you on this program. So just try to get to us on that way. I had said earlier that I was going to bring in a second guest. He is based in Lagos, Nigeria, and he's going to join me after I make a brief introduction of really what we have. But on the line with me right now, let me first welcome him, is Mr. Tunde Arugumati. He's a civil engineer by profession. He was also one time the president of the Nigeria-Britain Association. He attended the University of Ife, now which is Obafemi Awolowo University. So Mr. Arugumati, welcome to Point Blank.
Yeah, how are you? Good day. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Houston would love to hear from you. I mean, even though I say Houston, we are now, let me tell my audience also, we are also now online. We have go to our website and you can watch these programs anytime you want, mbclive.com, mbctvlive.com. Now, here is the issue I'm going to be discussing with Mr. Arugumati. We have a lot of problems in Nigeria. Nobody can actually debate that. I grew up with water running from taps. I grew up with lights being constant. I grew up with good roads in Surulere and Akoka. But today, I went to a good university, University of Ife. We had great buildings, great lawn. I had never seen a finer university in my life when I attended Ife. All of a sudden, all these things have gone bad, and we don't seem to be able to solve it. Fortunately, I would say I've lived in the United States and Canada for well over 20 years now, and I see them solving problems regularly. At times, they start solving a problem that I did not even see. And that is what has bothered me. Why is it that there's almost no problem we have solved in Nigeria? When the way we solve the water problem is that everybody has become has become his own water council or own water factory. Everybody now has a borehole. Is that the way we are supposed to solve problems? Mr. Arugumati, please join me here now. What is the problem? Do we have a solving problem issue?
Well, no, I don't think we have a solving problem issue. Like you said, people like yourself, myself, a lot of Nigerians are very well educated. They're all over the country, all over the world, doing very well in areas of endeavor. Nigerians are well accomplished. Nigerians are very forward-looking and are capable of doing anything any other person is doing. Our problem in Nigeria is first and foremost, Nigeria has been in existence as a country for going on to 56 years now, right?
56, yes.
And the basic problem in Nigeria, in my reckoning, is that Nigeria has not been able to properly define itself as a nation, as a proper nation. We started out, we've had our teething problems, we've tried to, we've had, military interregnums.
Yes.
We have been dislocated here and there. There have been problems of ethnicity, there have been problems
civil war.
There have been problems. And you see, in all this, there are interests. Of course, in every country, there are all diverse interests, but we have never sat down. Don't forget that, first and foremost, we are all jumbled together by the British into a hodgepodge, if you want, of various. We have over 250 ethnic groups all merged together without any defining, what do I want to call it now, national statement of well-being or belonging. So you see, our major problem has been on the ethnic side, on the social side, on various sides, everybody trying to just rush for the pie. And until we are able to determine what we stand for as a nation, and first and foremost, who are we? We will. Our problem is first and foremost that of identity, that of a common goal, common understanding, common vision. So over time, we have all, fallen into our various ethnic and social segments, and have used that opportunity, of course, because of the declining nature of governance that has brought lots of corruption and anomy within the polity. We have fallen apart.
Mr. Arugumati, let me chime in there, because you did say that we have a problem really with national identity. or just moving forward together because we are so jumbled together, 250 ethnic groups.
We're going, everybody's going in different directions.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get this and get that. And because of that, there is a struggle for the central power, which is the federal power. And don't forget that we claim to run a democracy. We do not run a democracy. What we just have is it is. In absolute terms, they're not running a democracy. We just have an elite, a very selfish elite, that has taken over the very, very few members of the elite who have, by dint of, access to money, excessive amounts of money and power, have been able to hold power within just their ambit, and they've been playing around with it all they want.
Okay, look,
until we sit down.
I do agree with your general point about the way we were conceived and brought to birth seems to have issues that affects us down the road. But Mr. Tunde, look, and we all rode on Lagos-Ibadan Express Road when we were in Ife, and it was a smooth road. We saw it deteriorate in our very own eyes, right in front of us. How come that road has never been able to be fixed? Well, those are the kind of problems. What is it? This cannot be an ethnic problem. What is it within our system? I'm
not saying ethnic now, but it's a problem of, like I said, it's a problem of everybody not falling into place, not falling. You see, we do not have a central, what do I call, a central strategy of who we really want to be. If you ask a Nigerian if you ask Nigerians from different parts of the country what it is to be a Nigerian, you'll be very shocked. You just spoke about America. You are now a civilian, a citizen, an American citizen. You know what it is to be an American. You know what to expect from being American. No Nigerian can tell you what he can expect for sure and get back in return, and be very sure he will get back. For instance, look at the last few number of years we've had the Boko Haram
situation. That's a very good one.
People have been killed, and you hear of thousands of people losing their lives. And on the serious note, as far as I'm concerned, people are not really worried about the sheer numbers, each life. Like I keep on saying, each life means something. Each life should mean something, whether you're from the north or from the south
and all that.
But you see, there is a tendency that, look, people in the south might look or say, okay, it's happening in the north, it's not my business. It doesn't. If one boy is shot in a school anywhere in the United States, there's an uproar.
Of course, you're right about that. There's an uproar. But let me go back to something again.
Because it's not normal. It's not supposed to happen.
Well, look,
and things like that. But here, okay, you said when we had good rules. First and foremost, we started out with from independence into democracy. The army took over. Then we had some element of sanity, as far as I'm concerned, especially during the Gowon era, where we had series of rolling plans. We had rolling plans then because we were being run by military that's just been handed over by the British, right? And I'm not trying to give any credence to the British, but what I'm trying to say is that there was an element of discipline at that time. There was an element of planning at that time.
We had those 5-year rolling plans.
That was central at the time. But you see, over time, because of various attempts, which get worse by my reckoning every given time, because of so many contending interests, right? Yes. You keep on having this. For instance, the APC, the ruling party, is not really a party; it's a coalition. The coalition of different interests that just got together to get power. There's nothing wrong with that. But after they got the power, what have they been doing with it? You can see that there's so much disjointed. The president is trying his very best. He's an ex-military man, so much, but there's only so much good intentions coming. You see, like I said, going back to the system, Nigeria does not have a good operating system. You want to use that term. It does not have an operating system as in, if I could liken it to...
Okay, Mr. Ogumati, I'm going to take a very quick break, and I'm going to come back to you with the last question.
Okay.
But that question I will hold back. But let's take a quick break and we'll be back. So people just wait, bear with us. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Point Blank. I hope you're really enjoying this program. This is my second guest I have on today, Mr. Tunde Arogumati. Remember, I had Mr. Olu Aluko on earlier, who, when we discussed the issues with the Senate or the high expense of our Nigerian Senate. But I have still here with me Mr. Arogumati, based in Lagos and talking to us from Lagos. Mr. Arogumati, off air, we had a little bit of discussion, and we went back a little bit to the Senate. And you kind of mentioned something that looks as if could be a problem solver or something that maybe could take us in a different light. Could you expatiate on that a little bit?
Well, like I said earlier, the problem with Nigeria is the structure, is the way it's run now. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just read it a short while ago. I am yet to confirm fully, but yes. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Koromado, who has headed the Constitution Reform
Review Committee
for about 8 years, and has not really made any headway. Just came up now to say that, look, we need to go back. Nigeria has 36 states. Right now, virtually, I don't know, maybe about just out of them, maybe about 6 of them, maybe about 6 of the states are financially viable because of the way they've been run around. They're not, they cannot, generate enough funds on their own to stand. And there have been clamor for years, especially notably by so many, but notably by that we should go back to our old regional system, and maybe instead of 3, now how about 6, because the country is a bit more vibrant. Regions, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And those 6 regions should have an element of autonomy, and then we have the weak center, right, that just runs things like security, strategy, overall policy, police, and things like that. Mm-hmm. But you see, this has been resisted over the years because everybody wants to sit down in their state and just get money from the center. We're in a lot of problem now because Nigeria is no longer making so much money from oil. Everybody knows that there's been a crash in oil, and right now we are really, really in the doldrums. Now, the thing to do, which should have been done, which is only in the last regime we had constitutional conference.
Yes.
That just that didn't get anywhere because the same thing happened again. Some group took over and were trying to be funny. The thing to do is to restructure Nigeria from the grassroots again. Get 6 regions working. Get from those regions, let's now have local governments. Let the local governments operate on their own. Let the regions be autonomous. Let there be transparency in the way everybody Nigeria is being governed. And then we will go back. You see, all those things you've mentioned are just symptoms of the problem. The real problem is that Nigeria is not, it's not a nation. It's yet to become a nation.
Okay,
it's just an agglomeration of so many interests and groups and ethnic bodies and whatever you want. So that's the truth.
Oh, Mr. Arogumati, I cannot thank you enough for joining me on Point Blank this today. It's been a real pleasure talking with you, and I hope to get back to you at some time on other issues. Thank you very much.
No problem. I'll be most obliged. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful program I've had for you today. I've had 2 great guests join me, Mr. Olu Aluko and Mr. Tunde Arogumati, one from Abuja and one from Lagos. And we have delved into what the situations are in Nigeria. Unfortunately, we cannot keep going on. We have a 30-minute program. But look, if I left time out there, we would discuss the Nigerian problem to no ends. But they have given you some idea of how things should be from their own perspective. And I do really agree to to a lot of what they have come out with today. Look, this is a program for you. I want you to tweet at me at Patrick PJ Osage or go to #PointBlank. Same time, same place, next week, Thursday. I'll be right back on the screen. So have a good evening.
Welcome to Trinity Africa Bar and Grill at Suite J, 5700 South Gessner, Houston, Texas 77036. Come dine in a contemporary setting and enjoy our specialties like Francophone coconut rice, grilled fish, plantain and African spice, jollof rice, pounded yam and ogbono soup, vegetable soup, and much more. Calling to order your takeout and outdoor catering and experience our second-to-none services at an affordable price. Take advantage of a $10 lunch special from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Trinity African Bar and Grill is located at Suite J, 5700 South Gessner, Houston, Texas 77036. A taste that commands order for more.
I welcome you all to another episode of Timeless Soccer. Today, we'll look at the final group game of Nigeria against Hungary in that tournament in New Zealand last year. You know Nigeria will be back at the Olympics this year, 20 years, exactly 20 years after that country last won it in United States of America. They did it right here at the Atlanta 1996 Olympics. Of course, that was 20 years ago. Hopefully, it's going to be another lucky year for Nigeria. And some of those players that played in this particular game will surely be back for this tournament because some of them are really doing exceptionally well for themselves. Kelechi Iheanacho, that Nigerian striker, and of course, winger and an attacking midfielder with his left foot have made another history for the great continent of Africa. He played in the semi-final stage of the UEFA Champions League as a 19-year-old for Manchester City, though the team did not qualify for the finals. They were defeated by Real Madrid in the semi-finals. But Kelechi Iheanacho was part of this tournament in New Zealand last year, and surely he will be back for the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro this summer. That Olympic Games will be played between August 5th and 21st. This particular August, it's definitely going to be an August to remember for a lot of us. Algeria is another team that will be playing in the Olympics this summer, as well as South Africa. Remember them. They've been really doing well since they hosted the World Cup in 2010. I think that is a very, very good way to develop your soccer in that particular country. South Africa has been doing extremely well, and you can never say never. They might just go all the way also in the Olympics this year. Of course, Senegal makes the fourth team that will be representing Africa at the Rio Olympics. But today, we look at that final group game between Nigeria and Hungary. Remember, Nigeria need this 3 points it was a very, very crucial 3 points for them, as well as Hungary also. They've lost one, they've won one, and they also needed the 3 points really, really urgent. So definitely it's a game to stay tuned to. Enjoy it, and I'll be back. My name is Bayonle Arashi, and the program is Timeless Soccer.
Well, two teams who will surely qualify, but in what order? It will take a remarkable scoreline for either of these teams to go home after this group stage. But who goes second? Who goes third?
Action, action, action. All action-packed game in that first half. Well, I promise you ain't seen anything yet. Wait until you watch the second half of that game. Then you agree with me that both teams deserve to go on to the round of 16. Although Nigeria were stopped eventually in the round of 16. Who stopped them? Don't worry, you get to see that game also on Timeless Soccer. So long you tune in every Saturday from 11 a.m. immediately after dawn on NBC, which goes on from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Saturday. I'll be back after the second half of the show to round off this time around.
These are the last seconds. The whistle sounds. And these two qualify. Nigeria in position 2, Hungary in position 3. And what a game for Nigeria now in the last 16 against the European champions Germany. Renstork's Hungarians will take on the Serbians in Dunedin. But these two are through to join Brazil in the last 16. Nigerians the winners with a couple of goals from, in this game, Taiwo Awoniyi to decide this last group game in New Plymouth. Name it hit the bar.
I mentioned at the beginning of this particular show today that Kelechi Iheanacho did so well for himself this season in the English Premier League and of course UEFA Champions League. Summarily, he did well for Manchester City, another Nigerian that played in this tournament. Of course, you saw him playing for Nigeria. It was Isaac's success. Of course, he won the Player of the Year for FC Granada in the Spanish La Liga. You see, we have lots of Nigerian players doing extremely well for themselves. Isaac's success was the Player of the Year for his own club in the Spanish First Division, where the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, and other great players are also plying their trade. Of course, another player that I won't forget to mention is striker Taiwo Awoniyi. He was also very, very, very good in that tournament. And I'm sure without any doubt, these three guys will be returning to these Rio Olympics coming up in the summer. It is here we draw the curtain on another episode of Timeless Soccer today. My name is Bayonle Arashi. I'm excited because the Olympic is on its way and I can't wait to see some of those exciting games. And hopefully 20 years ago is a long time. So boys, you got to go out there and win this gold medal for us again in the Rio Olympic this time. And though the Brazilians said Neymar will also be coming, but even with Neymar, Africa and Nigeria will do very, very well in that tournament. My name is Bayonle Arashi. Bye-bye now.